Alright, today we're having a look at Sci-Fi World 1 by mdaj. Alright, so here we are in Sci-Fi World by mdaj, and already it's looking kinda exciting. This is a bit of a mystery, because I was just looking through levels, and apparently, like, I played and hearted Sci-Fi World 2 at some point, and I do not remember that at all. It must have been like way back in the before, but weirdly, even though it's got the heart on it, it doesn't have a play mark, so I don't know what's going on with that. Yo, rooms full of bubbles. I will always give my love to them. I love the way this looks. I appreciate that we got a little bit of the logic like on display. I've always enjoyed that. I know some of it is that the tags like are visible, but just showing bits of old school logic. What is going on with this? What are you? What? I don't understand. Thank you for giving me help. Drive your car to the elevator, activate it. Okay. How do I drive? Like what? How do? Wait. No. There's a button there. I want to get up over on that. Can I? Yeah, I guess. What is even? Is this? Okay, sure. You know, sure. I'll take all the bubbles. Give me all the bubbles. I love this. This is like, this is what I want to wake up to. This is the world I want. Okay. Car? Good. Move. I didn't even know this was a car. Like, I thought it was... Maybe I activated an enemy or something? Okay, wait, no. Should I grab that? Or do I just need to be near it? Yeah! What? I love this! mdaj, you are amazing. This is so cool. Okay, I am super duper enjoying myself. We've only got 46 seconds left. I hate it. I want to do more of this with you. Like, the look is very kludgy. It's very LBP1 style, but like in a way that works, in a way that I appreciate. I don't even mind that the background is pants. It is a pants background. It's just straight gray, and like who wants that? We want a little bit more, but I would bet that this was probably why I wish that I had not squished that fish. Oh my god, there's like extra paths? You can't be giving me extra paths. Hey, grab the rocket, hang on tight. Let's do it. Yo, I'm gonna hang on tight. I'm grabbing the rocket. Oh my god. What? I love it. Oh, shoot. Okay, the timer is off. We're gonna do this until it stops, and then we're gonna go back to the hub. What? Will this just go on forever? Okay, I'm okay with that. Like, we could go on forever. I'm so busy though today. I can't be doing this all day. mdaj, I love you, but like, I need you to cut this. I'm not even angry. It's just like the timing. I've got no time. Will this just go? Like, could we just do this forever? Surely not, right? Like, it's gotta cut off eventually. They're not gonna play the whole song. I do appreciate that the song is speeding up though. That's kind of neat. You can probably hear the beeping. Alright, oh good. Look, it's done. Thank God! Oh dear, entropy. I'm loving everything about this level so far. This is just a hoot. So we're gonna talk about it back at the hub. We'll see you there. See yas! And we're back, and Sci-Fi World 1 by mdaj, and you got the impression from when I was doing the first impressions, but I adored this level. It is a throwback to what I think is some of like the best qualities of really old school LBP1 levels in presentation and the way that like the design is handled. And I don't want to look back on the early days with rose-colored glasses. I know we had but certainly tons of issues with like meme levels and copy levels and just levels that were junk and kind of low quality, except maybe to the creators' hearts, and I appreciate that because mine were too. But to look back and to see like what good levels were at that time, and some of the levels were really, really good, and I think that this one definitely was one of those. I super enjoyed it. Like what we saw in the first impression section, and we've got this kind of gamey style sci-fi world where it's not like a purely abstracted platformer with no connection to an environment, but it's also enough artificial looking that I think that it kind of fits well still with the build it yourself vibe that early LBP one had going, and you're kind of just traversing this level and interacting with different objects to like open up switches, open up gates, and get in elevators and get on to the end. It's not like really a hazardous level. There's not a lot of like tight skill sections that you're going to need to be able to do, but it still manages, I feel, to keep the player well engaged with what is going on and with what it is attempting to pull off, and I really appreciated all of that. I love mechanical interactions in levels. I think that they are a whole heck of a lot of fun to see, like the moving parts of flipping switches and all of that. So that's like on display here. That is great, no problems at all, no notes. One of the issues though with that is that they are like physics based and they are like object based, and sometimes although this level is pretty good for it, sometimes they don't actually function because like things get caught up on other things. So one issue that we saw here is like there's a button, it's a homemade button, and you just like it gets stuck. Like you gotta jump on it a couple of times to actually make it do the thing that it's supposed to do, and that's a bit of an issue. I played Sci-Fi World 4, and Sci-Fi World 4 is probably the fiddliest of mdaj's levels, and there's like this really neat technique that he's done to make it look like you're kind of like walking on air, and that was like super cool. But the problem is like it didn't survive the changes in physics between LBP 1 and LBP 3, and so you end up with something that just breaks mid-level, and that does happen, and that does kind of suck. But you know, what are you gonna do? What I just like the points. There's like all these little point bubble sections in the level that you could totally avoid, and you can engage with them if you want. They're there if you want to play with them, but you don't like have to do that. And I thought that was like really fun. I always love it when that type of stuff shows up. We've got like that spinny rocket bit that we saw at the end of the first impressions section. Is like, did that need to be there? No, probably not. Was it cool? Abso-frickin-lutely. Like, yeah, like why wouldn't you have a spinny rocket section in your level? I dug that, but I dug the fact that like these are things that are missable or skippable if you're not interested in them, or if you're just like rushing across through the level and you might not notice that you could go, for example, left. You don't have to follow the arrow down, and that'll get you these extra points. And I love that kind of stuff. I love it so much. It does really add to the replay value of the level that I found. I wanted to go back and see, like, because you can kind of see to the side where things are, and I wanted to see like how to access those. Now there are a couple like issues like that I didn't quite dig so much. The cart section. Now the cart was really cool. I super appreciated the fact that like you could see the logic that's functioning, making the cart function. It's actually off to the side, and it's not on the cart itself, and that's like a technique that we don't really need to use anymore because we've got microchips that you could put like all the logic that you would need. But sometimes with the older stuff, because like you're making something small and it needs, you know, a switch to work it, and where are you going to put that switch? Well, you just put it someplace else in the level, disconnected from the actual object itself. And like that was a really cool technique, and I love the fact that you could see it. Like it's there in a glass box, and you can actually look at it and say, oh, that's how mdaj is doing it. Like that bit was cool, and I really appreciated it. But why are you here? That section. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go all the way around to the left, and you're gonna loop up. And there's a couple of bits in there where you can like raise the platform so that you can be in the range of a player detector, and then that's gonna, you know, open up some blocks or blow something up. And you finally get to a section where you're supposed to park and you're supposed to pull a yellow switch before the crusher comes down and crushes your cart. And first off, because of the way magic mouths are set up in LBP 1, and it's easy to like trigger a bunch of them all at once and not be able to cycle through, like it'll only display one and you try to look at another one and there's no like real way to trigger it because you're triggering the first one. I didn't even see the part where it said it's a switch that's on a time limit. So like when I tried to play it the first couple of times, and I thought you were supposed to do the entire course with the cart and then get there and like on a certain time limit that you couldn't see, which I was a little bit cheesed off about because like you can't see that time limit. But no, it's just you're trying to beat the crusher. So the issue with that section is to the side of the switch, and there's like a panel of dissolved material that I imagine is hiding the prize for the actual cart. And it's really easy if you're in a rush, and you wouldn't think so because like it's a really small area, you know? You would think you screw up once and you could just like walk over and do it right the second time. But the pressure of seeing the crusher come down, it kind of distracts you from it. And I kept on grabbing onto that dissolve material instead of the switch itself and just like hanging there uselessly, watching my poor cart get destroyed. I hated that. Didn't like that. That's like that's an on me thing. I don't really think it's an issue with the level. One of the things I didn't particularly like about the level, there was like an era, I feel like, in LBP 1 where like ball mazes were a total thing and everybody was into these rotating ball mazes, and they're just really kludgy, particularly this one here because it doesn't move smoothly. Like there's like a pause between when you grab it and when it actually shudders into motion, and it just like it kind of tanks the pace of the level for not very much effect. Like it is neat, don't get me wrong, it is like super neat. I appreciate its existence, but I don't necessarily appreciate it in this level. Like that's like the only thing that I didn't like. There's a spaceship bit, and the spaceship bit is like really cool, love that. There's a bit at the end, and it's like it's super neat because like it's another place where the level presents you a choice that will kind of affect how you finish out the level. And you get to the section, it's like monster or weapons, and I did the monster first because of course I did, because I'm a monster girl. And you get to ride this like Steelix, and it's really well shaped, and it's like really nicely animated for LBP 1. And I think it displays in a very small bit like how skilled mdaj was for like creating objects and making them look really nice. You can see this as well in Land of the Forgotten, which I also played for the archive because I just fell in love with mdaj's levels. And you got these dinosaur dragon skeleton-y things, and you can interact with them a little bit, and they let you progress through the level, but they look gorgeous, and this Steelix looks gorgeous, and you can ride it all the way through to the end. And I don't know if there's a way to save the Steelix. That was another little bit of a downside. You're only presented with this yellow switch. You can't actually keep going over to the left, and so what do? You pull the switch, and something comes down and crushes the Steelix, and it's like, you monster! And I'm like, I didn't know! You didn't let me do anything else. I had to kill it. But if you choose the weapons instead of the monsters, and you've got these swords that you can fly over, and like the old school way of doing swords in LBP 1, which I miss and I haven't seen forever, where like the sword is just like a styrofoam object, and you've got to you're on a jetpack and you've just got to physically swing it around you. And I laughed when I saw that. I was like, oh my god, not Sakashi. And you swing the sword, you knock down some pillars, but you'll notice that at the end there's like slots for 3 swords, and you had a choice of 3 swords at the beginning of that section. Now if you wanted to just leave, and sure, because like it's a bit long to fly through, but you can go back, you can get those extra swords, or play with friends and they could take them for you, and you put them in. It's just like a color matching puzzle, really simple, and you put them in the slots and you can get the sword. And I really appreciated that. Like, do you want this prize? Do you want to do the extra work for it? If you don't, like, that's super cool, but if you do, here it is. And I know I'm gushing, but I love this level from top to bottom. I strongly recommend it. I also strongly recommend Sci-Fi World 2. It's past me, thank you, past Bisco. I really appreciate the fact that you clued me into this and left it on your hearted levels list. That's why you heart levels, folks, because you might play 10 years later, 15 years later, and be like, yo, stepping in the time machine for me. But that's another one where you got like a lot of mechanical interactions, you've got like a lot of nicely sculpted things. There's a little bit of time slowdown effect that's being used in one section, like one puzzle section, and then at the end, and that's like really cool to see in 2009. I thought that was neat. That's great. It's relatively short as the levels that apologize for overheating. Like, it's super understandable because like all this stuff is going on. We talked about Sci-Fi World 4, and like Sci-Fi World 4 is trying some really cool stuff. We see like an expansion of the time slowdown effect that we saw in Sci-Fi World 2, but like I said, it's doing something in that floating section that just like doesn't work anymore, and that's a shame. But like, just to see what it's like, it's not worth having a play. And Land of the Forgotten, which I played, Land of the Forgotten's got issues. One is that because of the changing in lighting between LBP 1 and 2, the lights are super duper bright, and it makes like some sections almost not impossible to navigate, but like quite difficult to navigate, because like it just the light completely blocks out objects behind it. But the bigger problem with that level, as I mentioned, I forget what I said 8 minutes ago, is that you've got like a switch in the level, and there's like no way to get it to do the thing that it's going to do. It's like already depressed, it looks like. It's not grabbable, and you jump on it, it doesn't do anything, and you can't progress without whatever it is that's supposed to trigger, so that's a bit of a shame. Yo, like, so there's 5 levels on the moon, and there's like 4 of them that are just, well, there's 2 of them that are awesome, there's 2 of them that are pretty neat, and there's one that's just like kind of a gimmick level that I've played before, and I don't think I've particularly appreciated it very much, and I didn't want to play it a second time for the archive because it does that like alternating caps thing in the description, and I kind of hate that because a lot of times it's really ableist. And anyways, like, so play those 4 levels, give them a shot. You'll love Sci-Fi World 1 and Sci-Fi World 2, I am absolutely certain. But I've talked for too long, and oh my god, I gotta get ready for work like right now. So yes, I'm in a wonderful mood, everything is great, and this was fun, and go play it. But from me, Bisco, here in Tokyo, to all of you out there, wherever you may happen to be, thank you, arigato, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.